Muy buenas, mis queridos y fieles fortuneras y fortunatos. Bueno, vamos a seguir ahora con el juego, viendo cómo podemos buscar la tumba de la Troll Termos, Madame Calamita. Pero antes que nada, les recuerdo lo siguiente. Denle like a este video, comenten, suscríbanse a mi canal, compártanlo, activen la campanita de notificaciones. Si se sienten millonarios, pueden hacerme llegar alguna ayudita mediante los links de Mercado Pago y Cafecito que hay en la descripción del video. Y si quieren contar con contenido exclusivo, pueden hacerse miembros de mi canal. Una vez recordado lo del like y todo eso, vamos con el juego. A ver, para. Con razón. Nunca le he preguntado a nadie por las cosas que tengo en el inventario. ¿A quién le preguntaré? A ver, a la última que fui a ver es a Isa. Así que, vamos de nuevo con Isa. O con Isa o el... A ver, vamos. Ilsa. Bueno.
You came back.
I'm not staying.
Ok. Bueno, a ver. Inventario. A ver.
I found this on the Milka. Does it mean anything to you?
A piece of cardboard with a number on it?
I think it might have something to do with Monday.
If you've constructed murder and a giant conspiracy out of that, I'm going to be very impressed.
Not yet. But I'm working on it.
A ver... No, la palanqueta no. Y esto no, porque va a salir como que... Ay, no quería pedir dinero. Así que la etiqueta, a ver.
Can you read this?
Yes. It says Pier 5.
What language?
Agatean.
How do you know an obscure language like that?
Actually, 2 conquers is from the counterweight continent. I learned it
El
from...
continente
I thought that
contrapeso.
people weren't allowed to leave the Agatean Empire.
Oh, things have freed up these days.
I'd be careful who you tell about 2 conquers, Ilsa.
Why?
People can be funny about foreigners, and there's always been rumors about the Empire. They say they use powerful magic there. The last time one of them arrived here, the city got burned down.
2 conquers isn't going to burn the city down.
You know that, and I know that. But the average man on the street doesn't know that. They see the unknown as a threat.
Why? 2 conquers is harmless. No one's that stupid.
Let me let you in on a little-known secret. You know how stupid the average person is?
I think so, yes.
Well, statistically, half of them don't even that.
Va, igual no había mucho más que a lo que pudiera, digamos, preguntarle sobre algo que encontré en el Milka. Bueno, chao Isa, nos vamos. Bueno, va. Atraquedero 5, tercer de roda... Acá, atraquedero 5, a ver. Apa, a ver, hola.
I take it you're the watchman for this warehouse?
Wow, you're sharp. People never work that out. I mean, there are so many reasons that I might want to be out here on a pier in the middle of nowhere, but you went straight to the fact that I'm a watchman. Well done.
That's a real talent you've got there. It usually takes me much longer to take a dislike for someone.
Bueno, a ver. Hablarle.
Let me guess. Not only are you the watchman for this warehouse, but you are so bored that anyone who comes along is a target for abuse.
You're good, I'll give you that. Sharp as a pancake. What brings you here?
Research. I'm on an investigation.
You with the watch?
No, I work there.
So you're a criminal.
This is Ankh-Morpork. We're all guilty of something.
I'm not. Pure as the driven snow.
Oh, yeah? Well, you've just directly violated the patrician's laws about groundless metaphor.
What?
Well, can you prove to me that you're as pure as snow?
Ah, but that wasn't a metaphor. That was a simile.
Because, of course, the patrician is going to be swayed by a pedantic defense like that.
I guess you have a point.
Bien, ahora no sé qué hay que preguntarle, a ver. Tenemos un montón de cosas sobre las cuales... no, al mágulos. A ver, ¿qué dice?
You wouldn't happen to know your way around the Salachi family mausoleum by any chance?
That's nothing to do with me.
Bien.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
Sorry, I don't get to socialise much with this job. It's the night work, you know.
Do you know anyone named Therma?
Sorry,
Bien, bien,
I
data,
don't get to
entendí.
socialise much with this job. It's
A ver, para. Asesinatos misteriosos.
Do you know anything about the recent murders in Ankh-Morpork?
That's nothing to do with me.
Bien, bien. A ver, Alcalí.
I gave the watchman Al Khali's description. He didn't recognize it.
Carlota.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Sorry,
De
it's
acuerdo.
the night work.
A ver, entonces vamos a... Isidro Castaños.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man
No,
named Two
me va a decir
Conquerors?
lo de la vida social.
Sorry,
Ta,
it's,
ya entendí. A ver... Milka, a ver qué dice Milka.
Heard of the Milka?
Sure, put it in my coffee,
It's a ship.
Yeah, I know. Just winding you up.
Well, I'm already about as tightly wound as I'm going to get. Unless you were planning to use me as an alarm clock, I'd start thinking about being cooperative.
Where's the fun in that?
The Milka?
Oh, yeah. All I can tell you is that they unloaded their cargo here.
What was their cargo?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. That'd be violating Watchman cargo confidentiality.
There's no such thing.
Oh, all right. I just don't want to tell you then. Satisfied?
Ecstatic.
Bueno, a ver...
When I gave Mundy's description to the watchman, he became animated. Well, not that animated, but more animated than he had been.
That's the one. He tried to break into the warehouse the other night.
You're sure?
Or maybe I just like stringing you along for fun.
What happened?
I scared him off. I'd like to know where he is now, though. It doesn't look good to have people get away with breaking into a place like this. Bad for our reputation.
Oh, I'm sure. Because everyone respects you, and this would just put a total stop to all those dinner party invitations.
Boy, watch it.
Bueno, a ver, Milka... ¿Algo más que le pueda averiguar? El caso Munder, el caso Terma... A ver, pero... Algo más le tengo que preguntar, creo. ¿Alcalí? O le pregunté por Alcalí, no me acuerdo.
I gave the watchman
Sí,
out,
ta,
and
ta,
he
ta.
didn't
No me acordaba. Me lo quito, me venga el mausoleo bella chévere, para.
I wanted to find where Therma was. I knew the streets, but
Bueno, a ver. Es el inventario, a ver si... A ver.
does this mean anything to you?
That's nothing to do with me.
Bueno, de acuerdo.
Have you seen any labels like this before?
Oh, sure.
Where?
On crates.
I have this inescapable feeling that I could try and get some useful information out of you about this, but that it wouldn't be worth the time and effort I'd have to spend on the way.
I'd go with that feeling if I were you.
Bueno, pero... A ver, la palanqueta me va...
Tempting as it was, I decided not to start attacking people with the crowbar.
Bueno. Se le pregunté de todo al...
I couldn't carry the crates even if I wanted to.
Está por acá, a ver. ¿Nada? Cajones, puertas, algo. La rebosa. Pero ¿cómo hago
I
para...?
wasn't the disc's greatest climber, and the warehouse wasn't the easiest building to scale. I was going to need some help.
Pero...
I'd already had to dive onto the Ankh once. I wasn't about to do it again.
Bueno, a ver... Pero... A ver, ¿pero ayuda de qué? A ver, ¿no habrá algo para acá para buscar... para subir o algo así? A ver, claraboya.
The skylight set on the roof, an inviting alternative entrance.
Bien, pero a ver... A ver, para. A ver, palanqueta... Y...
The crowbar would undoubtedly be useful in opening the skylight, but I had to get up there first.
De acuerdo. A ver... Pero ¿en serio que no me puedo meter un poco más por acá? No, parece que no. Bueno.
If it wasn't for the watchman, I could probably get in through the doors. As it was, I needed another plan.
A ver... Luego por acá me salgo de acá, ¿no? Sí, me salí de ahí. A ver... ¿A quién le podría pedir ayuda para entrar ahí? A ver el despacho. A ver... me voy... Para, ¿qué hay acá? A ver...
The note had been pushed under my door by Carlotta.
Luton, I am anxious to see you again and to find out how the case is going. Come to the von Uberwald mansion on Pond Lane. Carlotta von Uberwald.
Bueno...
Carlotta was a member of the von Uberwalds, one of the richest and most reclusive families in Ankh-Morpork. That explained why she could afford to offer to pay me so much. It didn't explain why she hadn't got around to paying me yet, but I could wait, at least until the rent was due.
Bien, habrá que ir. Mausoleo, mansión un tanto.
I already had a bad feeling about the Mundy case, but learning that my employer was a von Uberwald didn't fill me with confidence. I didn't know the facts about the von Uberwalds, but the rumors were bad enough.
May I help you, sir?
You could let me in for a start.
Very good, sir.
And don't call me sir.
As you wish, sir. May I take your coat and hat, sir?
Thanks, but no. I feel naked without them.
That must make it difficult to clean them.
Was that a joke?
I never joke, sir. It's not my job. I may lie, dissemble, or deceive, but I never joke.
Look, I don't want you to take my coat, okay?
But of course, sir. Sir is welcome to drip all over the immaculate hardwood floor that I spent several hours polishing this morning, because Sir is a guest, and Sir is entitled to do whatever Sir wishes.
Bueno. No, pará. Inventario.
I have an invitation from Carlotta.
Sarah is as quick to reach the point of Sarah's visit as a tortoise with a war wound is in crossing a very large desert. I will fetch Mistress Carlotta for Sir, provided Sarah would be so kind as to wait here and not to touch the valuable and irreplaceable furniture that adorns the room Sarah is currently dripping on.
I'll see what I can do.
Bien. No tenía que revisar nada, pero bueno. Libro.
The book was about the lineage and heraldry of the nobility of the city of Ankh. I didn't understand much of it, but I noticed that there were handwritten corrections in it.
Bien. Puerta de entrada.
There was no way I was going to try and smash such an incredible work of art.
La escalinata. ¿Y por qué no?
I confess, I was consumed with avarice, but I wasn't about to steal an entire staircase.
De acuerdo. Eso, capaz que tengo que hacer algo con el libro, para.
Best to leave the book alone.
Ok. No puedo subir acá arriba, ¿no? No. El 4.
I couldn't think of a good reason to steal the painting, even though it would have looked great on my office wall. The painting bore a striking resemblance to Carlotta.
The Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald, née Leopoldine. My predecessor, in a sense.
Oh, are you a duchess?
No, but the resemblance is impressive, isn't it? My husband was struck by it from the moment I met him.
Where is your husband?
Dear Ulrich passed away during a civil uprising in Uberwald several years ago. Quite a terrible business, actually. Peasants, pitchforks, burning torches, the usual sort of thing.
Usual?
For Uberwald, certainly. Their ways may seem barbaric, but it's just the way things have always been done. If there wasn't a civil uprising every few years, I do believe the nobility would be most disappointed. Dying at the hands of a mob in a burning castle is practically traditional.
Tradition important to you, is it?
Ever the investigator, eh, Luton? Even your employer isn't beyond suspicion.
My old boss used to say that everyone was guilty of something.
And what are you guilty of?
Too many things, sweetie, but nothing you need to know about.
A ver.
So what's the story with you and Ulrich?
Do you believe in love at first sight, Luton?
It saves a lot of time, certainly.
Ulrich fell for me the moment we met. I guess seeing that painting every day probably helped.
Don't sell yourself short. You have a few assets of your own. I'm sure it was an equitable transaction.
You think I married him for his money?
Did you?
Let me tell you something, Luton. I've been rich and I've been poor. Rich is better.
Did you love him?
Does it matter?
It matters to me.
Maybe I did. I guess it depends on what love is.
Love is a moment of weakness that allows someone to hurt you more than you ever thought possible. Men were given the strength to be brutes to women, and women were given love.
Who was she, Luton?
Who?
The one who left you with such a high opinion of women. She must have been quite a gal.
You wanted to know how the case was going.
A girl's got to have hobbies.
I think I'm getting somewhere.
We're all getting somewhere, Luton. The question is, am I going to like where you're going?
I guess we'll just have to find that out the old-fashioned way.
That's me, an old-fashioned girl.
Like the girl in the picture.
The Duchess? She was quite a trendsetter in her era. She wore her dress so high, you could almost see her ankles.
My heart is pounding at the thought.
A ver.
I don't have much to tell you about the case, I'm afraid.
You still haven't found Mundi?
Not yet. I might do a better job if I had more money at my disposal.
Ah, yes, of course. You haven't been paid yet.
Well, it had crossed my mind.
I'm sure I could sort something out.
I didn't doubt that she could. The question was, would she? And more to the point, when would she? What can you tell me about the Duchess?
The Duchess Charlotte von Uberwald. Born Charlotte Ameliorati Victoire Tangerine Leopoldine, she married the Duke when she was 13, which was the style at the time. She was considered a risque dilettante by most of the nobility of Uberwald, and rumors abounded that she caused the heart attack that killed the Marquis of Grandmal when she showed him her naked knees. Her corset was said to be so tight that her first pregnancy went into extra time. Her first and
Qué
only son
boludez.
had learned his first word by the time he was born.
You're pretty good on this family history business, then.
I dabble.
Bueno, a ver.
I need your help.
I'm not hard to get, Luton. All you have to do is ask.
I need your knowledge. I need to find a particular tomb in the Salaci Mausoleum, but I don't know enough about genealogy. You do.
The Selaci Mausoleum? That could be trouble.
Don't worry. I'm not going to mess with the tombs. I know better than to offend a family whose ties with the Assassin's Guild go back to its very foundation. I just want to see if someone's buried there.
Who's the stiff?
A troll named Therma.
A dead troll? You don't get much stiffer than that, I suppose.
Will you help me or not?
Of course, although I'm not really properly dressed for a mausoleum. You don't mind waiting while I get changed?
It's not like Therma's going anywhere.
If Sarah is not too busy, the master of the house wishes a word with you.
And if I
Bien.
am too busy?
The master of the house still wishes a word with you, and I shall be forced to beg.
That sounds like it could be fun.
Did I say beg, sir? I meant resort to violence.
In which case, lead the way.
Bien.
Mr. Luton, as I understand it, my daughter-in-law has retained you to investigate a certain matter for her.
That's correct.
Then I take it you will be a frequent visitor to my house.
It seems likely.
Do you know who I am?
I know that they call you the Count.
Do you know why they call me the Count? Because I am a Count. Count Henning von Uberwald. One of the Blinks von Uberwalds, I ought to add, because frankly, Uberwald had an uncountable number of counts. And I'm trapped in Ankh-Morpork at the moment because my current infirmity prohibits me from leaving this room.
That doesn't explain why you wanted to see me.
I wish to know what my daughter-in-law has you investigating.
That's between me and her.
No, Mr. Luton. I rather suspect it isn't. You see, Carlotta's hands are not on the von Uberwald purse strings, but mine are.
So you're saying I won't get paid unless I tell you what I'm doing?
No, I'm implying that. Whether or not you actually get paid is a different issue.
What's it to you?
I get very bored. I'm interested as to what goes on around me.
All right. I'm tracking someone for her.
Someone who is missing?
That's right. A man named Mundy.
Oh, I see. Very well. If you keep me informed on the progress of the case periodically, I will ensure that you receive payment.
You said you have to stay in the conservatory. Why?
I'm not a well man, Mr. Luton. It is hard to say how long I have for this world, or indeed if the next world will take me.
What's so special about the conservatory?
Ankh-Morpork is too hot and humid for my tastes. I had the conservatory built especially. It's colder than the rest of the house. I keep it at the temperature I feel most comfortable with.
Why so cold?
You ask too many questions.
I'm an investigator. It's my job.
Well, be thankful that I find your impertinence charming, or else I might be forced to teach you a lesson.
In your condition?
You would be surprised at just what I can do in my condition, Mr. Luton.
Bueno, habrá que... Le voy a preguntar algunas cositas y creo que terminaremos con el juego por ahí, a ver.
So your account?
I am the Count, yes.
What's it like?
It's fine, although one does get the occasional burning desire to tear out the throat of people who ask too many questions. Do I have to draw you a picture?
Ajá. Entonces no se le podrá preguntar nada, ¿no?
Do you know the Salaci Mausoleum at all?
I'm aware of it. The Selaci family and the von Uberwalds do occasionally mix in polite society.
By polite society, you mean high society.
Well, certainly out of your reach.
Is there any chance you could show me around it?
Mr. Luton, there is little chance that I will leave this room for you or anyone else, let alone travel halfway across town to give you a guided tour of a mausoleum. Also, I confess, it would bring back happy memories of when I was dating.
You took your dates to a mausoleum?
Sometimes. Sometimes my dates lived in mausoleums.
You dated the dead?
No, the undead. They can be terrible bores sometimes, but most vampires are terribly well bred.
Interesante.
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
These days, the only people I know are those who come to the mansion.
Bien, o sea, no, capaz que no... Es que si le hago muchas preguntas, capaz que me manda a matar.
Big, dumb troll who goes by the name of Malachite.
Malachite. There's a name I have not heard in many years. Yes, I know of him.
How?
As it happens, he broke into this mansion several years ago and stole several valuable
también que me caía Malaquito.
recover. Incredibly, the City Watch was able to catch him before the Thieves Guild did, and he was in prison.
For some reason, I decided not to tell the Count that Malachite had escaped. I had a feeling the troll could still be useful to me. Maybe as a rockery one day.
Bien, a ver, Terma, Madame Calamita, pero ya te pregunté por ella, ¿no?
Have you heard of a singer named Madame Lodestone?
These days...
ya te había preguntado. Asesinato misterioso, me va a decir que me va a
Do
matar
you
a
know
mí.
anything about the recent murders?
There are always murders in Uberwald. I don't see why these should be any different.
I was talking about the murders here in Ankh-Morpork.
Mr. Luton, I couldn't be less interested in the petty crimes of this wretched city.
Bien. Alcalí.
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Khali?
These days, the only people
Ta,
I know
ta,
are
ya
those
sé,
who
ya
come
sé.
to the mansion.
Bien. ¿Y se dio castaños? A ver.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
These days, the
Ta,
only
ta,
people
ta.
I know are those who come to the mansion.
Bueno, a ver. Mundi, ya le dije. Milka.
Do you know anything about the Milka?
I'm sorry, but I don't get out of the conservatory much.
Bueno. A ver. El Cazamundi. Los va... No, ya he hablado de los bon... Ah, bueno, ya hablé, bueno. Se me podría ir, a ver. Adiós.
I'll be back later.
I look forward to it.
Bueno.
Now let's get this straight. We're looking for a troll named Therma.
As far as I know, yes, but she may be in here under the name Madame Lodestone.
Okay, then we can rule out the Fornix Sanguis Ceruleus.
What?
The Blue Blood Vault. We can probably eliminate the heroic decapitated war veterans vault and the thoroughbred pet vault. Do you know what relation this troll had to the Selachi family?
Does there have to be one?
She wouldn't be buried here if she wasn't.
Well, your guess is as good as mine. It took Carlotta a while to work it out, but we eventually found a Madame Lodestone in the Fornix Familis, the servitor's vault. Guess she used to keep the floors real clean.
Here we are. Madame Lodestone.
There's an inscription. Madame Lodestone, singer and retainer of Lord Robert Salachi, taken from us when her house collapsed, returning her to the rubble from whence she came. Not much of an epitaph. Still, it's more than I expect mine will say. I'll probably end up with whatever's written on the cement bag round my feet.
Muy bien.
Carlotta? Carlotta? She disappeared without even a word. I couldn't work that woman out. Still, she'd found me the tomb, which left me trying to decide whether or not to tell Malachite.
Bueno. Bueno, gente, por hoy, como todo en este juego, mucha charla, pero casi poca acción, pero lo bueno es que la charla es muy divertida y entretiene. Bueno, fortuneros y fortunatas, nos vemos el próximo gameplay. Adiósito.